what exactly is gastroesophageal reflux disease?
It's a condition where stomach contents flow back into the esophagus, irritating the lining. Think of it as a reverse waterfall of stomach acid.
A reverse waterfall, I like that. And what causes this unwelcome backflow?
Several factors contribute, including a weakened lower esophageal sphincter, hiatal hernias, or delayed gastric emptying. Lifestyle choices also play a significant role.
So it's not just one thing, but a combination of factors working against us, right? What are some of the telltale signs someone might have this condition?
The classic symptom is heartburn, that familiar burning sensation. But there's a whole spectrum of symptoms, from acid regurgitation to difficulty swallowing.
And how is it treated? Is it all about antacids?
Antacids can provide temporary relief, but treatment often involves medications that reduce stomach acid production or improve esophageal motility. Lifestyle changes are crucial too.
So it's a multi-pronged approach, combining medication and lifestyle adjustments. Makes sense. What are the potential long-term consequences if gastroesophageal reflux disease is left untreated?
Untreated, it can lead to serious complications like esophageal strictures, making swallowing difficult, or even Barrett's esophagus, which increases cancer risk.
Barrett's esophagus? That sounds serious.
It is. It's a precancerous condition, highlighting the importance of early diagnosis and treatment.
This underscores the need for prompt medical attention if symptoms persist. Absolutely. How can someone differentiate between the pain of gastroesophageal reflux disease and cardiac pain? They can feel quite similar, right?
That's a critical distinction. While both can cause chest pain, gastroesophageal reflux disease pain often responds to antacids, whereas cardiac pain usually doesn't.
So antacids become a useful diagnostic tool, in a way, I see.
Precisely. But it's crucial to rule out cardiac issues as they can be life-threatening. Always seek professional medical advice.
Absolutely. Never self-diagnose. Let's talk about lifestyle changes. What can people do to manage their symptoms?
Avoiding trigger foods like fatty foods, caffeine, and alcohol is key. Elevating the head of the bed can also help.
Simple changes can make a big difference.
Right, absolutely. And timing meals is important. Avoid eating close to bedtime.
So it's about mindful eating and sleeping habits. Surprisingly, gastroesophageal reflux disease can manifest beyond the digestive system. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, the reflux acid can irritate the throat, airways, and even teeth, leading to symptoms like chronic cough, sore throat, or dental erosion.
So it's not just a stomach problem. It can affect the whole upper body.
Wow. Exactly. It highlights the interconnectedness of the body's systems.
Fascinating. What's the connection between hiatal hernias and gastroesophageal reflux disease?
A hiatal hernia, where part of the stomach protrudes into the chest cavity, can weaken the lower esophageal sphincter, increasing the risk of reflux.
So it's a structural issue that exacerbates the problem.
Precisely. It's a common contributing factor.
It's all about that sphincter, isn't it? How is gastroesophageal reflux disease diagnosed?
Often it's based on symptoms and response to treatment. But if symptoms persist, further investigations like endoscopy or pH monitoring might be necessary.
So it's a combination of clinical assessment and potentially more invasive procedures.
Yes, to confirm the diagnosis and rule out other conditions.
A thorough approach is essential. Now let's shift our focus to esophagitis. What is it, and how does it relate to gastroesophageal reflux disease?
Esophagitis is inflammation of the esophagus, and gastroesophageal reflux disease is a common cause. The constant irritation from stomach acid leads to inflammation.
So it's essentially the consequence of prolonged reflux.
Exactly. But other factors like infections or medications can also cause esophagitis.
It's not always directly linked to gastroesophageal reflux disease. That was a great discussion. We've covered a lot of ground, from the basics of gastroesophageal reflux disease and esophagitis to their complications and treatment options. Thank you for shedding light on these important conditions. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscription button. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below in the comments section.